أمتي فشر يحاك لكم فشر يحاك لكم أمتي يريد الفناء ورب السماء فيا أمتي أنصتوا واسمعوا فجل الأمور بدت في خفاء قنابلهم كالسموم تدار فما من صدوق وما من إخاء فشر يحاك لكم أمتي يريد الفناء ورب السماء فيا أمتي أنصتوا واسمعوا فجل الأمور بدت في خفاء قنابلهم كالسموم تدار فما من صدوق وما من إخاء فشر يحاك لكم أمتي يريد الفناء ورب السماء فيا أمتي أنصتوا واسمعوا فجل الأمور بدت في خفاء قنابلهم كالسموم تدار فما من صدوق وما من إخاء فشر يحاك لكم أمتي يريد الفناء ورب السماء فيا أمتي أنصتوا واسمعوا.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Now, good afternoon, viewers. It's another episode of Inside Islam, and I'm Rashid Chiwanuka. Today, we are discussing leadership, and we are centering on the servant leadership in Islam. We're looking at that form of leadership where you offer service to the community. What could be the best practice when you doing this servant leadership? With me, I have Sheikh Council Kasim Kamgisha. Council Kasim Kamgisha is the member of executive, the top organ of Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, and he is the General Assembly member, mashallah, from Chigezi region, representing Chigezi in the UMS General Assembly, and others. Say salam to our viewers.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين ثم والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده محمد ابن عبد الله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. To proceed, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, fellow viewers and countrymen.
Okay.
It's my pleasure to be back to National Broadcaster UBC this evening,
Mashallah.
and to benefit the community
Mashallah.
by adding a brick
Okay.
to our understanding of Islam,
Okay.
but also contemporary in leadership, and of course to give a picture on what we understand in terms of servant leadership, as the moderator has said. So that when we are out there, we know what we are in terms of serving Islam.
True.
Servant leaders or hired leaders.
Yes, yes.
And thank you for the topic.
Mashallah.
May Allah accept.
Amina.
Allahumma.
Now, Sheikh, welcome to UBC. Yesterday, as we are here, we got the news that at least finally we have a second deputy mufti, acting second deputy mufti. Actually, we got the news at around 6 from UMSC, the Majlis al-Ulama, okay? And he was sworn in accordingly, his eminence, Sheikh Muhammad Haruna Bukenya, mashallah. But as the member of executive, I want to take us through the process, how the system elect or appoint the deputy mufti, of the deputy muftiship.
To begin with,
Okay.
The muftiship
Okay.
is a preserve in terms of approval,
Okay.
is a preserve of the joint session.
Okay.
The joint session in the hierarchy of Uganda Muslim Supreme Council is a joint meeting of executive
Okay.
and the Council of Sheikhs, or Majlis al-Ulama. And so, I wouldn't want to rush to congratulate the individual you have mentioned,
Okay. That is according to the news.
but you know, I'm a member of executive,
Okay, mashallah.
and by extension, I sit in the joint session.
True, true, true.
And so there was no session of joint session as of yesterday.
Okay.
But maybe the news are pronouncing there would be successful candidate from the exams which were sat. That is both written and oral exams.
Okay.
And for that matter, the results are out. That a certain sheikh who is qualified is now in Katenis, the second deputy mufti of Uganda. So for me, as a member of executive and joint session, I cannot be on the national broadcaster
And say-
and confirm a rumor.
Is it a rumor?
Yes, it's a rumor because as joint session, we have to approve.
Oh. According to the information I got, that like he is still acting till the approval
Of the joint session. Now, as member of joint session, which must approve, I do not have the legality.
Okay, okay.
I don't have the legal mandate to make a pronunciation on a national broadcaster. But provisionally, I would equally congratulate him.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to mention name because my assumption is I don't know the name.
Actually, for me, I know the name. I will say Sheikh Haruna Bukenya, Muhammad Haruna Bukenya,
Mabruk Sheikh, Mabruk, if that is the position.
who was serving at the Qadi, Kayunga. But now he was elevated, I think.
Yeah, so in terms of legality, as a member of joint session, I cannot pronounce anything until we approve as joint session.
Okay.
But by and large, the muftiship is under the approval of the joint session, which is a combination of the executive committee of Uganda Muslim Supreme Council and the Majlis Ulama or Council of Sheikhs. Now, you ask that who elects or who?
Yes.
Who
I'm looking at the process you go through.
Who manages the process? Number one, before you go to the process, there are requirements to be satisfied by anybody vying to be the Mufti of Uganda
Or the deputy.
or the deputy,
Okay.
first and second. One, that individual must be a Sunni Muslim,
Mashallah.
but also a mayor. We shall not enter into the nitty-gritties of why a mayor. That one
Okay.
is known within our circles.
Yes.
So it must be a Sunni Muslim mayor. Number two, must be of the ages between 40 and 75.
75. Okay.
So below 40, you cannot qualify.
Okay.
Beyond 75, you don't qualify.
Okay.
So me and Rashid here, we can satisfy other requirements.
The
I
papers.
think by age we can qualify.
Okay.
So that person must have a minimum qualification of a master's in Sharia law or its equivalent.
Okay.
Now myself, with master's in law, but with a bachelor's in Sharia, that could be an equivalent.
Okay.
Then must be fluent in Arabic and English language. Because Arabic is you can't have a master's in Sharia without Arabic because it is rare that you master Sharia from our English universities. Then for English, the assumption is because I was part of the Constitutional Review Commission of Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, our intention of making English as as mandatory in terms of fluency is that the mode of communication in Uganda is purely English. Though we are adopting Kiswahili, but it is still on a very low level. So our assumption was that the Mufti of Uganda is the representative of Uganda Muslim Supreme Council at various forums, including the deputies.
Okay.
And most of these forums would require that you don't gamble.
Okay. Okay.
In communication.
You must be fluent.
So number two, the Mufti of Uganda represents Uganda and Uganda Muslim Supreme Council on international forums, which would require that Arabic and English be well mastered.
Okay. Because
outside there, you are the face and you are the figure of Uganda as a country, but also of Islam as a religion in Uganda. So we thought the fluence of those languages is very key. Now, number four, that individual should not have a criminal record within our Sharia laws, but also within our common law of Uganda. So he should not have been convicted of any criminal offense. He should not have been sentenced. So he should be a person of higher integrity.
Integrity, yes.
Because his service shall be within the confines of religion. And religion is a reflection of morality.
Morality, yes.
So would expect that someone is morally upright.
Okay.
But also that individual should have served, and this is very, very important, should have served within the structure of Uganda Muslim Supreme Council for a period or time not less than 10 years.
Oh, so someone must be within the system.
Within the system. And the reasoning of the members of the Review Commission of the Constitution of Uganda Muslims, because we have got a new constitution.
Yes.
And on this note, allow me to do something extraordinary within the program. I want to thank the President of the Republic of Uganda, who in his wisdom thought it was necessary to facilitate Uganda Muslim Supreme Council to go out and carry out a consultation with all Muslims in Uganda vis-a-vis their constitution. Why? This constitution was as old as 50 years because it was a constitution of 1972.
72 years.
Which had been amended in 1982, then 1986, and up to date.
And a lot had changed.
So many things had changed, both within the Muslim structure, but also in the governance of our country, Uganda.
True.
For example, the grand norm of Uganda, which is the constitution, had brought special interest groups on board. That is the women, for example, and the youth. And these form a bigger percentage of our society. But Uganda Muslim Supreme Council constitution had not captured, because by 1970 it was not really a factor.
Oh, of course. We didn't
so the president, in his wisdom, thought it wise that the process has to be facilitated so that we can bring these people on board. And as I speak now, actually recently, the women structures of Uganda Muslim Supreme Council were integrated. And the head of state, who is the president, was the chief guest.
True.
I think last year...
And you have to thank him on the 22 billion.
Yes, last year, the youth council was also integrated.
Yes.
And so, if I don't thank the President of the Republic of Uganda for that gesture of really looking into the
enabling us have that
Supreme Council structure and saying there is something missing, and let us really have it on board, I would have really stabbed him in the back. So, Your Excellency, I want to thank you, but also I want to thank you for the contribution you extended to the Women Circle.
True.
A very huge sum of money, 2 billions, and the Baganda say basima bwonjerwa.
Yes.
The women will ask for more, but they are very appreciative of that.
At least there is something now.
Yes. So why we thought it was key for someone to have worked in the structure of Uganda Muslim Supreme Council was, one, to have an understanding
of the system,
of the operations of the structures of Uganda Muslim Supreme Council. You know, when someone has been part of the system, they know the pros and cons,
Yes,
the do's and don'ts.
And even the way to handle.
But above all, our structure is quite complicated in terms of the people you are dealing with. You are dealing with people who have got a mind of guidance from the Quran, which gives them some specificity in how they do things.
Okay.
But at the same time, you're operating in an environment,
Within such
an environment which is a bit secular.
Secular, yes.
You're operating in a country which is heterogeneous. You're operating in a country which has got a government and a system. And therefore, you must be able to fit in the system of our country, but when you are still practicing your religion, which has got guidance that is so unique.
So you must be able to understand the two, the Quran and even the system.
Exactly. So a person who has been, for example, a district Qadhi of a district within the system of Uganda will have had appreciation, will have had understanding of how he has to move side by side with the government system.
At some time we might think that maybe you people who are made in the constitution wanted to keep away some people out.
Well, for us, we are liberal Ugandans. We are liberal Muslims. We have not been part of any conflict.
Okay.
Because Sheikh Kasim Kambudish has not been part of any disagreement. So, and that committee was a committee of, in my view, it was the cream de la cream.
I know.
Of the contemporary Muslim generation. Because the least qualified on the committee had a bachelor's in Sharia. So you had people with PhDs.
At the Apex, you had the Dr. Kasenenez.
You had a professor at the Apex. You had Dr. Walda. PhD, you had Dr. Sarah Kusima, PhD in law. You had Ali Kankaka, former president of Uganda Muslim Lawyers Association, UMLAS. You had the likes of Sheikh Abubakar Musoke. You had Biekwaso, former SG Uganda Muslim Council. Sheikh Atradhia with the masters in public administration. Myself with the masters in law.
Okay. So it was the cream.
It was a cream de la cream. And I'm talking about a master's in law, Ugandan law, but with the bias in Sharia. So what we did was not really in the interest of anybody.
Okay.
It was in the interest of our country, Uganda, but also in the interest of Islam. Okay. Because we would want to have a leader who has interacted with different opinions of others that have shaped his appreciation of leadership. For example, if you're a district Qadhi of Kabale, where I come from, you are minority Muslims in Kabale, but you have to attend function.
You're operating within.
You're operating within an environment where you are a minority, but you have to coexist.
And even you have to be part of the government programs so that your people can benefit.
Now, that's in the line of service. You have to coexist with other denominations which are quite large and bigger than you in strength and numerical numbers. But also, you are a leader who is leading Ugandans who would want to benefit, for example, from government programs. PDM, for example, Myoga, and other government programs. So you should be someone who has interacted with all that to have shaped your appreciation of Muslim leadership vis-a-vis working with other stakeholders in the development of humanity.
In that, you're appreciating the experience within the system.
Yeah, you in those 10 years, really you have developed a lot of potential, a lot of experience, but above all, you have understood the players, the players within the game of leadership, because you can't be isolated.
True, of course.
So we said 10 years in leadership, it should be the minimum experience a person vying to be a Mufti of Uganda or deputy should have.
Okay.
Because we wouldn't want to give half-baked products to Uganda.
Wow.
So now, when someone qualifies in that line of requirements, now this person applies. Is not headhunted. This person applies because, for example, Deputy Muftiship second was open after Sheikh Waisa was elevated and confirmed by Majlis and executive joint session.
Not the first deputy.
The first deputy, actually the deputy mufti.
The deputy mufti.
So the position was open and there was really a need to have a second. So people who had those qualifications, of course, had to apply.
True.
Now, after applying, you are subjected to ikhtibarat. Ikhtibarat, these are exams. It's not ikhtibar, it's not wide, it's not one. They are numerous. So you are subjected to written exams, then oral exams, because we want to measure your appreciation of concepts. You know, people after studies forget to keep refreshing their knowledge.
Yeah, true.
So you want to really establish whether you are still on course in terms of knowledge. But also you want to look at your aptitude.
Yes.
How confident are you?
How you handle matters.
How confident? Because Rashid, a mufti or a deputy mufti, will be interacting with various stakeholders. So the system wants to really appreciate your confidence, but also want to appreciate how you reason out strategic matters. Okay. Want to test how you would react.
Sheikh, who manages this process?
The process is managed by Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, generally, because you will be within the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council. Okay. But for the exams, they are given by Majlis al-Ulama, because you are being appointed as a mufti, not as Secretary General. So, who understands?
Now you're confusing us. If you Secretary General is managed by?
Managed by
executive.
It is through open applications, but it will be managed under Uganda Muslim Supreme Council executive.
Okay. Then this one is
under the Majlis al-Ulama, the Council of Sheikhs. Because to be a mufti, you must be a sheikh.
True,
so your fellow sheikhs must see whether you are competent as a sheikh first.
Okay.
So if you are talking about Sharia, it cannot be an accountant to understand whether you know Sharia.
It must be a fellow sheikh.
A fellow sheikh. So they are the ones who manage the exam, both written and shafawi or oral. Then from there, so that's an interface with Majlis.
Okay.
So then you are subjected to executive, because executive has to also poke an eye into you.
You're still watching UBC. I have Sheikh Council Kamugisha. We are supposed to discuss servant leadership, but I thought it wise that the council, being that he is member of the executive, is member of the top organ at UMSC, he takes us through that process also, though we shall talk briefly about the servant leadership still. Now,
so in that line, when executive appreciates the individual, because we're looking at fluence of English, then the criminal record, then we now subject it to a joint meeting. That's joint session. Executive and Majlis al-Ulama now come together, sit and agree.
Okay.
Because they have all assessed you differently.
Okay.
Executive has assessed you from its lenses.
Okay.
The Majlis has assessed you from its lenses. So now they sit together. They come together and
confirm
and see whether they should confirm you or not.
Which is not yet.
That's why I said I cannot.
I
cannot, as a member of executive and therefore a member of joint session, I cannot make a statement on the acting or the persons who were in there. What I can wait to do is to confirm, then I give a position which shall be the position of the joint session after.
Okay. So
that is the short process. If it is short or long, it is subject to your comments, but that's the process which someone goes through to become part of the muftiship in terms of the mufti of Uganda or deputy or second deputy.
Okay.
Yes.
So when we expect the joint session?
I wouldn't want to take over the role of the spokesperson of the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, so
but
I would
really... top organ.
Yes, but you see, whether you are a member of executive or majlis, you are not part of the management.
Technical team.
The management, which sets dates
Okay.
for meetings.
Nice.
So I wouldn't want to be a spokesperson of the organs of Uganda Muslim Student
I've
Council.
realized that you're so keen because councils are always keen because they know what it takes to break a law.
Yeah, I would be really, committing legalities on national broadcasting.
Okay, mashallah.
Yes.
Sheikh, now let's go to our topic. We're talking about servant leadership.
Yes.
We believe that as you leaders in Islam, you're supposed to offer service.
Very true.
So, what could be the best practice or Islamic aspect in servant leadership?
Whatever we do in Islam has got a basis within the Quran and Sunnah, because those are the maswadir tashri'. Those are the foundations of Sharia. And if we can't have it in Quran, the Sunnah, which goes extended to the actions of the four Khalifas who come after the Prophet, then you find yourself now entering into qiyas. You compare.
You compare, comparisons.
But here the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam gives us a basis. He says, "Kullukum ra'in wa kullukum mas'ulun an ri'ayati." That each one of us is a shepherd. And every shepherd shall be asked about the flock he was shepherding. Now, a shepherd does not expect a pay or a reward from the flock. But a shepherd has to always be, one has always to be humble, because you are dealing with something which will always disturb you. So you must be humble, you must be at the top of the game. A shepherd must always be forgiving, because a sheep will always want to go and eat from someone's garden.
True.
So you have to bring it back.
It is you to bring it back.
But you don't have to slaughter it because it has gone to eat from there. That because since you have gotten there, I should slaughter you, because you slaughter them every day. So you must be forgiving. And number three, you should be prepared to offer and sacrifice for the betterment of this flock. So as a servant leader, the expectation is you have to work extra more hours. You have to use extra more energy, and you have to make sacrifices against your life, your family, your wealth, for the betterment of the people you are serving. And that is why the shepherds will have to sleep outside, because they want their flock to go home satisfied.
To be comfortable.
Go home satisfied, have enough grass and go home satisfied. That is sacrifice. You are giving beyond. So the concept of servant leadership in Islam is about humility. It's about caring and giving. It's about sacrifice. But above all, it's about giving your best in terms of commitment.
Now, Sheikh, I like that intro. When you look at the trend right now, you, my leader, but then the leadership in you acquire it from the institutions and schools, whereby to acquire this knowledge, you go and at least either the price you pay to get this knowledge, and the knowledge you acquired, you must practice it within. So are you still going to do that service, or you do this service expecting a pay, or you're going to do it because you're doing a service?
You see, when you open Surah Tawbah, verse 60, it talks about sadaqah, and that is zakah. It talks about zakatul fitri. It talks about zakatul al-mal.
Yes.
And it lays down the 8 people, asnaf al-zakah, people who should benefit from zakah. And one of them is وَالْعَامِلِينَ عَلَيْهَا. Those ones who are working, who are offering a service in collecting.
Okay.
But they are not paid before they complete.
They complete the service.
So what comes first is service. You serve and maybe get appreciated. But not to put a price so that you serve. So even if you go to Saudi, even if you go to Misri, Egypt, even if you go to Pakistan, even if you go to Tripoli, even if you go to Damascus, to acquire knowledge, when you come back, the expected from you is service.
Okay.
Because in one of the verse, Allah says, وَلَوْلَا مِنْ كُلِّ he says, if it was possible that in every nation gets out a person, goes out, learns and comes back and guide the nation. So when you go to Pakistan, when you go to Saudi Arabia, when you go to Egypt and come back to Uganda, you are stepping in the shoes of an Egyptian or a Saudia or a Pakistani who should have came to Uganda and taught. And when you go to Saudi, when you go to Egypt, when you go to Pakistan, you are not paying tuition. These people are paying for you.
Okay. Okay.
So the expectation is when you come back, you have to pay back. You pay back by giving a service.
Okay.
Now, when you are giving this service, it should not be tied on a pay. It should be tied on a payback. You are paying back, but at the same time, you are fulfilling the demands on you from the community. If there is a situation which can allow facilitation,
Okay. Okay.
it's not haram in Islam, because one of the first talks about وَالْعَامِلِينَ عَلَيْهَا. You are working in an environment which is maybe generating something, and maybe you are driving a car, no problem to have a fuel. But it should not be the motivation.
To you to do something.
The motivation should not be money. That before I go to lead a Juma prayer in Mbuya, in Nakasero, they should send me transport. No. Those people want a service of Juma, khutbah from you. So you should first go and offer that khutbah. When there is capacity to facilitate you to go back, Alhamdulillah. If it is not there, then you still say Alhamdulillah ala kulli halin.
Oh, Sheikh.
So I know it will sound,
yes.
and that is why it is very important that a leader in the Islamic faith should not be a leader only. Should be a leader, but who is doing
Something.
an extra economic activity for his survival. That is why when Prophet
So you must be dual.
the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when he was a prophet, he was still doing trade.
Actually, I was going to, that is my second, actually you're preempting my second question. Because how did the Prophet do this? Because he was a servant leader,
Yes.
as well as a business person, as well as, he had a lot. How can you step in and at least try to have lesson than examples? Because
You see, Rashid, Islam does not take away all your time. It will always give you time for yourself, for your family. Because you remember one of the Sahabas, Abu Darda'i, the man was not sleeping. The man was not giving rights to his wife. And when the wife went to the Prophet to complain, the Prophet called Abu Darda and said, religion has got a right on you, your body has got a right on you, your wife has got a right on you. So Islam does not take away time for yourself, for your people, for business. So the Prophet ﷺ and those bigger Sahabas would always juggle or balance between religion and survival. That is why Uthman bin
Okay.
Affan radiallahu anhu was one of the richest men in his time. But he was the one who led the compilation of the Quran.
Wow.
Because the Quran was in people's heads, Quran was written on leaves, on backs of trees. When he became a Khalifa or a Khalifa, he led
The foundation.
he led a campaign
Okay.
to have the Quran compiled.
Okay.
And this man was the richest man, that his caravan would come to Medina and everybody would get survive in Medina. Now, this man therefore had time to serve Islam freely because he was doing an extra activity for his survival.
Okay.
Look at Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. When at the time of Ghazwat Tabuk, he offered a lot of money, which the Prophet didn't expect him to have. That means he was working to earn this money. So, look at Abu Dharr. Abu Dharr had a very big garden of dates. That the dates would provide for everybody in Medina during Ramadan. Now, these are symbols that a leader in Islam
Must go an extra.
must have an extra work. And that is why, you see, our president is very, very challenging. He'll always say that, for example, PDM, he'll always say that PDM is open for everyone. He'll always say that socio-economic transformation
For everyone.
for everyone. And today I prayed from a mosque whereby the young sheikh who led the khutbah, he made a comment and said, we the sheikhs of today are now emancipated economically because we have got something else we are doing for survival. So we shall tell you the truth as it is.
Because they're not dependent.
Because they're not depending on anybody.
anyone.
They are not fearing that when they tell you the truth,
You're not
you
going to
cut
get-
off the salary.
Yes, yes.
So the essence is a leader in Islam must be a servant because he has got survival behind. So the service he's offering should not be tied to payment.
Payment.
If a payment comes, it's a baydaw.
As a facilitation.
As a facilitation, it's a baydaw, and there's no ayah which stops you from taking
Getting
it. No ayah which stops you from getting it.
Sheikh, now preparing this leader to have dual, because they're talking about at least being a servant in religion, but at least this side you must be economically empowered.
Emancipated.
Yes. What could be the starting point? Is me taking my son to school to have dual curriculum, or me training my son that at least as well as you're doing this, but then this is also another route to take?
Rashid and the viewers, the mentality should not be that whoever goes to school will be economically emancipated.
Okay.
We have got people who are billionaires in Uganda, but they have never been to school. But that doesn't stop us from taking our children to school. Number two, the fact is everybody must have a skill.
Oh, talking about skill now.
Everybody must have a skill. You see, we have got 4 schools of thought in Islam. Jurisprudence, we have got 4 schools of thought. And one of the oldest schools of thought is the school of Hanafi. Nu'man ibn Thabit, Abu Hanifa. This man was a philosopher of his time in Islam, living in Baghdad. Baghdad being a city then, because in Baghdad there was electricity. 1,500 years ago, there was electricity in Baghdad, and England, London was in darkness.
Okay.
Yes, so because there was civilization in Baghdad, people were putting on shoes 1,400 years ago. Now, Nu'man ibn Thabit, al-Musama bi Abu Hanifa, was a cobra. A what? He was a cobra. He used it to repair shoes.
Okay.
Because he thought that repairing shoes would pay him, and he gets facilitation to go and study. And that's how he becomes a scholar. Imam Shafi'i, Muhammad ibn Idris al-Shafi'i, he was from a rich family which was in business, and himself was doing business. So there's nothing which stops us to train our children into the money making into the money-making venture so they can be self-sufficient vis-a-vis serving Islam. Now, it would be actually very good that when kids are in holidays,
they get those skills.
Let them get skills. Why would our kids be on video games? It's not bad to be on video games, but
then,
at what time of the day?
It's all about managing this time.
Exactly. After Fajr, a kid can memorize a verse or two, then do some house chores. And if there is, for example, a motorcycle garage nearby, talk to those people, send him there.
Okay.
So that in the future, when he becomes a sheikh, he can still do.
You do your work as well as.
Exactly. Now, when he's moving to give a khutbah, which is a service, he will not ask for pay or facilitation. So, to balance the two, it should be a mindset.
Okay.
Send them to school. If they get good professional paying jobs, better. Send them to skills training ventures. When they have these skills and they can serve Islam, it is better. So, it is very, very simple for us to develop people who have got a dual life. That they are sheikhs, but at the same time they can earn something for themselves.
Okay.
And this is a very good concept, because if you empower a leader, you have empowered society. Because this leader will be speaking with authority.
True.
He will be speaking with authority to the led. But if a leader is malnourished,
actually, if you're the one facilitating this leader, you will not have a stand.
You'll begin giving him positions.
Yes.
But if he's emancipated, then he will be really to the correct path of Islamic knowledge.
Okay.
So therefore, for parents watching us, I would really encourage that we have capacity, or we build strength to build these people.
Okay.
Let them have a skill, but let them also go to schools which can really build them into dual players, using left and right.
As a top organ member, thinking about having more skills centers for us as Muslims.
Well, I'm always running away from becoming a spokesperson
of course, you can run away, but then it is within your jurisdiction to talk about it.
Where the strategic plan of Uganda Muslim Supreme Council will be out soon, will be launched actually, because what I'm meant to understand is Uganda Muslim Supreme Council will be celebrating.
Actually, yesterday the Mufti and the chairman launched the 50 years of UMSC celebration.
Actually, 52 years. 52 years of UMSC. So around December 12th, there shall be a bigger celebration of 52 years of UMSC.
And this time round we shall be in Kololo.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. So the whole essence of that is to show what we have achieved as Uganda Muslim Supreme Council in 52 years. And I think this will speak to what line we have taken in terms of skills development, or what strategic plan we have for developing skills from yesterday up to the next future.
Okay.
So the strategic plan which shall be unveiled then will be speaking to the nation about how far we have gone with skilling our nation for in the last 52 years.
Okay.
We might have not achieved a lot in the first 20, 30 years. But as I speak now, you'll find you have got a skilling center at Uganda Muslim Supreme Council. There's a skilling center.
Yes.
It is doing very good.
It's free of charge.
Free of charge, and I saw there very many young girls being trained. When you go, for example, to Ntungamo, you'll find a skilling center. When you go to Mbarara,
and even Kaboja.
When you go to Kaboja,
yes, there is one.
So really, there is some work in progress. But I would refrain from being a spokesperson of Uganda.
Actually, recently, Mufti launched the coffee production process, whereby people are going to be engaged in production.
Yes, all those ones are part of the strategic plan, which shall be unveiled.
Okay.
But by and large, Islam does not stop anyone from acquiring a skill.
Okay.
As long as you have got istita'a, as long as you have got capacity.
Okay.
So it's good you get a skill, whether professional or an informal skill, so that you can survive alongside serving like that.
Sheikh, before we end this program, I want you to have a message for the community that sent you to Uganda Muslim Student Council General Assembly. Just a word.
It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who sent me to Uganda Muslim Supreme Council.
MashaAllah.
Because he
Through
says,
the people
he
of
says in
Chigez.
the Quran, Surah Al-Imran, verse 26, he said, قُلِ اللَّهُمَّ مَالِكَ الْمُلُكِ تُؤْتِي الْمُلُكَ مَنْ تَشَاءُ وَتَنْزِعُ الْمُلُكَ مِمَّنْ تَشَاءُ.
What he wills.
That say that Allah is the King of Kings. He gives leadership to whoever he wills, and grabs it away, not takes it away, but grabs it away by force from whoever he wills.
So
For everything good, بِيَدِكَ الْخَيْرِ إِنَّكَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. For everything good, it is in your hands as Allah, because you are at the harem of, and you have capacity over everything.
Okay.
So it is Allah who sent me through.
okay. I like that.
Through speaking the people of Kabale, and I want to say that I will not betray Uganda, and I will not betray the Muslims of Uganda.
Okay, mashallah.
Inshallah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But finally, each one of us, wherever you are, you owe a duty, you owe a responsibility to serving Uganda.
Okay.
I ask you to always ensure that wherever you are, at your level, at your platform, add a brick to the building of our country, Uganda. Some countries were there before, and you can't see them on the global map because their people didn't understand their responsibilities. Ugandans, I call upon you to understand your responsibility and ensure that you add a brick for Uganda to be seen by your grandchildren when you are no longer in existence. I say all this for God and my country.
Okay.
Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
MashaAllah. I want to thank our council, Sheikh Kamugisha Kasim, MashaAllah, for the good discussion, MashaAllah, and he has expansively discussed the topic. The best is let's serve, okay? Let's serve, expecting nothing, but when it comes, let's embrace it. I'm Rashid Chiwanuka. I thank the production team, MashaAllah. Till next time, let's be servant leaders wherever you are. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.
Walaikum.
فشر يحاك لكم أمتي يريد الفناء ورب السماء فيا أمتي أنصتوا واسمعوا فجل الأمور بدت في خفاء قنابلهم كالسموم تدار فما من صدوق وما من إخاء فشر يحاك لكم أمتي يريد الفناء ورب السماء فيا